Hello, and welcome to Title Talk on Real Estate in New York. I'm Brenda Posner from Langdon Title, and today we have Stephanie Zwirn with us. Stephanie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a real estate attorney in New York. I've been doing this for 31 years. I am a negotiation specialist. I taught contract drafting at the law schools and did real estate litigation as well. So I know how to draft a strong contract and to keep my clients out of litigation. And I've been wanting to do this since I was 5 years old, and I still enjoy it.
So today's topic is co-op and condo due diligence. Why don't we start out with what is the difference between a co-op and a condo?
That's a really good question. With a condo, I would liken it more to a house because your ownership is evidenced by a deed. Most people know a deed. When you're purchasing in a co-op, it's actually, you're not purchasing real property. You're purchasing shares of stock in a corporation, but you can't live in a stock certificate. So there's also a proprietary lease that's an agreement between the shareholder and the co-op corporation that allows that shareholder to live in the apartment that they just purchased. So what evidences their ownership in a co-op would be the stock certificate and the proprietary lease versus the deed in a house or a condo.
Okay, so what is the balance we want to strike when dealing with the board or the management company versus condo due diligence?
Good question. When you're purchasing in a condo, it's not as onerous as when you're purchasing in a co-op. So when you're purchasing in a condo, the main thing that you need from the condo board is something called a waiver of right of first refusal. So actually the condominium has a right of first refusal to purchase the apartment you're seeking to purchase if you're the purchaser. They have a right to purchase it. So the deal that you have has to be presented to the condo board. And then the condo has the right to say, yes, I want to purchase it at that, or I'm waiving it. Now, again, I've been doing this for 31 years. I've never seen the condo actually take the apartment. I mean, I guess if it was being sold for maybe $5, the condo would say, yes, I'm taking it, but that's really never the case. And so the condo will it will give a waiver of the right of first refusal, and then you can go ahead and purchase the apartment. When it's a co-op, on the other hand, there's a much more onerous process, probably much more documentation, letters of references and whatnot, and the broker can help the purchaser with that. And you submit it to the board, the co-op board, and the board will ask for an interview. Sometimes they've even wanted to interview your dog if you have a dog that's coming into the co-op. But they give you an interview, and then they review the application, and then they will either approve or disapprove this prospective purchaser. So the process is much different in both. And if you could see with the co-op, it is much more onerous than with the condo. And we need that co-op board even more than we might need the condo board, because they're really, really scrutinizing this prospective shareholder. So it's very important for me when I'm doing my due diligence for my client, in which I need the assistance and the involvement of the co-op board. It's really important for me to strike a balance with getting what I need in the documents and the information quickly so that we can get the contract signed, and then also balancing the respect that you have to have for the board and the management company of the co-op so that they want to interview your prospective purchaser and they want them into your building. So it's really important when you're working with your team as a purchaser in a co-op to have that team with your broker and your attorney and the title company. Well, the title company is involved for the lien search, but it's very important to have a relationship with the co-op's management company right now, because you want everybody to be nice so we can get through it quickly.
Okay. So what is the due diligence and how does that impact how long a contract takes to get signed?
Very good question. That it's really important for the broker to be very prepared when the deal sheet goes out. So the seller's attorney the seller's broker is the one who sends out the deal sheet in the beginning of the transaction, saying the offer's been accepted. Here's the price, here are all the parties, here are the details, and then the attorneys start negotiating the contract. So it's really important to have all the information up front. As soon as the deal sheet goes out, the day the deal sheet goes out, if I'm representing the seller, I'll send the contract out. And if I'm representing the purchaser, I start my due diligence sometimes even before I get the deal sheet, because really the goal at this point is to protect your client and then also to get the contract signed as quickly as possible, because you don't want, if you're a seller, you don't want to lose your purchaser to another deal. And if you're the purchaser, you don't want to lose that apartment to another prospective purchaser. So the goal is really to work expeditiously and carefully. So what is the due diligence when you have a co-op? Let's go, both of them are very similar, and then there's nuances where they're different. So for both of them, I'll say, first thing that I do is I make an appointment with the management company so that I could review the past year's minutes of the board of directors meetings. You get a lot of really great information in there. You'll get information as to whether there's litigation going on in the building. If your neighbor above, this is an example I always think of in my head because my father's a salsero. If there's somebody who dances in the apartment above you at 4 o'clock in the morning in her heels without having the required 80% carpeting. That's something that you want to know before you buy in the building. So noise complaints, anything like that. You want to know if there's bed bugs. All of this stuff could be in the minutes of the board of directors meetings, and also whether they're going to refinance their mortgage, whether the maintenance is going to go up, whether there's going to be an assessment. All this is going to be contained in the minutes, or at least it should. So I do a very thorough investigation of the minutes, and I do it right away. And then I also have my CPA review the past 2 years' financials in the building. And that gives you a really good financial picture. And another thing that I do is, a lot of attorneys do this with brand new buildings, let's say new developments. I do it across the board. I review the offering plan and all of the amendments to it. And I prepare a risk assessment memo for my clients detailing all of the special risks associated with purchasing in the building. And then the last thing that I do is I have like a 5 or 6 page questionnaire. It's almost onerous, but it is what it is. And it's really important. It is over 31 years. It has every question you can think of for what you need to know about this building. And sometimes the minutes might not be really thorough, and sometimes they'll be exhaustive. But if they're not thorough, I want to make sure that all of our questions are still answered. So the questionnaire is really important. And something that's important to know about the questionnaire is that the co-op or the condo, they charge for it. I usually see it around $250. So if they're going to charge for it and they need to answer my questions, I want to ask them for it right away. So again, the day I get the deal sheet, my questionnaire goes to the co-op or the condo, and I want to pay them as quickly as possible. So I'll say to them, can I pay it by credit card, Venmo, Zelle, Blood? Can I drop it off, whatever it is, so that they'll answer me right away. And once we have all of this information, the purchaser will know as much as they possibly could know about the building. They'll feel safe signing the contract, because I'm doing that while I'm negotiating the contract. So that whole process shouldn't take more than a week. Of course, it depends how long the management company takes to respond and how long the other attorney is negotiating and whatnot, but it should take about a week. And if I'm going to say if there's a difference in co-op and condo, I would say that the board review is the biggest difference. So when it comes to my due diligence, again, it's that balance. I want to make sure that I'm balancing my questions without being too onerous with the co-op, but still getting my questions answered. With co-ops, a big difference, co-ops and condos, you often hear people say that a co-op is less expensive than a condo. And I just want to dispel that myth. I really don't see it as true, because when you look, if you're just looking at the purchase price, yes, a lot of times you'll see that the co-op is less expensive than the condo, but you have to look at the big picture, because the co-op has a much higher maintenance than, let's say, the common charge of a condo. But why is that? It's because the co-op is including that mortgage payment in there, and the real estate taxes in there. Into your maintenance. When you're purchasing in a condo, you own that property on your own. So you're paying this common charge that's less than the maintenance in a co-op, but you also are paying your real estate taxes separately. So it really, financially, I find that it's very similar. The difference I see in the co-op and condo is actually at the closing table, because the expenses of purchasing in a condo are much higher, to me, that's what I see, than they are in purchasing a co-op. Because when you're purchasing in a condo and you're getting a mortgage, you have a mortgage tax, and that's significant. And Brenda knows all about that, because she's the the big kahuna that helps out so much in a closing. And then also there's other fees. When you're purchasing in a condo, you need Brenda's company. You need a title company. So you have the title report and you have to pay title insurance. And so that's a bigger expense as well. And it's required when you're purchasing in a condo. So that's where it becomes more expensive with the condos and the closing costs.
Okay, thank you, Stephanie. A lot of great information. Everyone out there, feel free to, I hope, contact Stephanie with any of your questions, and have a great day.
Bye-bye.